Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be jumping down into the charts for XRP to see what's been going on most recently and what I think is going to happen next. As I get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, let's jump on down into this chart and take a look at what's going on. We're just paired up with Tether, we're on the hourly chart, and Binance is our data source. So last time we spoke about this, we were expecting some kind of higher push up, and actually what we saw here was a double top actually get created. So what I'll do is I'll just remove these for a second and I'll show you what that looks like. So essentially right here we created this double top. So the ABC, or the C wave that should have gone higher, fell short by hitting the same point as our A wave, and then we fell down lower as expected. Now the low point actually came in a little bit shallower than we were thinking, so we were thinking initially that we were going to come down a little bit lower than that, and we can measure the distance. We just grab hold of this, we transpose that over to about here. Yeah, so this showed us coming down, you know, quite significantly lower. I was hypothesizing that we might come down to the 786, I think it was, around the 82 cent or so, but we could actually have pulled down lower. But actually, I think this is based on going up higher first, to be fair. So we actually, you know, have found a pretty good area of about 83. What is that? That's yeah, 83.89 seems to be the point that we've come down to so far, but I'm not sure and I'm not convinced that we were actually finished this correction just yet. So what we want to do is just be a little bit open to the idea that we still have a little bit more to come. So if we just crack this open here, we've got another double top right there, and this could bring us down to about 82, but there's good support on this line of 82.46 rather than 82.19. So I'm going to put it down on the fib 1-to-1 ratio. Then I'm going to show you the double top right there. Okay, what that means in terms of A up, B down, and C there. There's actually a double bottom here as well, right on the support line of 84.61. So you know, some kind of correction is probably going to happen here, with an A, B, C coming down. So this should be the end of the correction, though. It looks pretty standard with the moves that have been going on. Essentially, you know, some double tops that have been blocking us from doing too much progress. And so this could be the bottom area of where we actually land. And this is pretty typical of a wave 2, because it's a very, very deep correction, almost as deep as the starting point of these 5 waves up, right? So all of that might actually end up being something as simple as a wave 1 and a wave 2, with then a huge surge up for a wave 3. Okay, so we'll be open to the optimistic, you know, mindsets to start with, before we jump into the pessimistic ones. But the structure that's started to form here, it is. Yeah, it's not the best by any stretch of the imagination. So it's kind of what you would expect with XRP being the way that it is. And the stochastic RSI does need to see some kind of corrective action. It's up in the overbought area, so eventually that's going to come back down. That could usher in this last little leg, this last little ABC taking us down a little bit there. Now, as I jump up into the 4-hourly chart, we are oversold. So long term, we're thinking there's going to be a hell of a good run to the upside. The 4-hourly, sorry, this 8-hourly chart is correcting down. So this last little pullback could get this 8-hourly into the oversold area, ready for that next run as well. The daily chart is actually in the overbought area. That's okay, because I think we're probably going to be getting the last little part of this run sorted. And the weekly is obviously overbought, so there's going to be some kind of larger correction coming in here. Now, if I actually just stay up here on the daily chart, you can see that essentially what we've done is we've got this ABC move. And there's a couple of ways we can look at it. We can look at it from the bottom here, or we can take a look at it from the top here. Again, this is one that Bitcoin's kind of followed quite a bit, and this one actually takes us out towards that $1 range, right? So it could be that we actually end up with you know, a good kind of surge up that actually takes us to this point, and what we end up with is you know, a bigger kind of, you know, A, B, C wave. Once we hit this, though, if I zoom out far enough, you can see that we're going to hit this descending trend line, and we're probably going to find rejection, right? Because at that point, I imagine that we would be overbought on absolutely all of those timeframes that I just spoke about, and we should be thinking about retesting some of these low areas again. I would expect a pretty significant pullback, and I think the timing on that move would be pretty much aligned to you know, things like Bitcoin also having a correction that I think is due, Cardano, pretty much most projects at that point need some kind of corrective action. So I think there's a little bit of a push higher then there's going to be a bit of a wipeout, probably 50% or so across the board, except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin will probably only be 20%. So yeah, 20% for Bitcoin, 50% for alts probably. That will then actually line up really nicely with Elliott wave theory on a second wave of the weekly chart. And then we look for a nice good surge upwards. Okay, so it won't be a bear market or anything like that. It's just going to be yeah, kind of a natural kind of correction as profits get taken from these high points, as you find natural resistances, and as you find natural kind of support levels on the way down. So yeah, XRP is going to have a bit of a correction in my opinion, and it's going to come down pretty hard, but it's not going to be any different to any other altcoin out there that's also going to have a pretty decent corrections at those points. And again, they're following the structure of what's being laid out in this foundational move of reversal. So ultimately, there's nothing here that I would be overly too concerned with. I think it's going to be something that's pretty much we're comfortable with. Now, this particular coiling of XRP, we're getting tighter and tighter and tighter into this, right? So we can see here this is a lot of overlap. So we can articulate that as an ABC down, that as an ABC up, that as an ABC down, that as an ABC up, and this is an ABC down. Now, if we actually zoom out far enough, this being a B wave, this could be a coiling up of a big surge to maybe even $10 or so, and that's the 1-to-1 ratio of our A wave and our C wave. And this here might be a triangle, okay? And if I grab hold of this, what I mean is we have an A wave, we'd have a B wave, we'd have a C wave, this could be a D wave, and then we come back down into a more volatile E wave. The E wave doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom. It could be anywhere, it could be any length, it could overextend if it wanted to, but that would be the breakout, right? So we're getting closer and closer to this, this completing out in a really strong way, right? We've got amazing structure across this daily chart, right? We've got this A wave coming up, we've got this potential triangle right here in the middle for our B wave, and then we get that surge up. And I think if the timing of all of this ends up really, really well, we could end up with some fantastic news around the SEC and all of that, coupled with an E wave low that basically triggers a huge explosive move up, and we finally hit some new all-time highs here for XRP. And I know a lot of people think it's a dead coin and all of that kind of stuff. Actually, it isn't dead in any sense of the word. It's utilized worldwide. It's the United States that are potentially not seeing that because they're very kind of stuck in that kind of SEC world of it's a security, it's a shit coin or whatever. But for the rest of the world, it's an exchange token, it's a utility token. It basically serves a purpose. I mean, it is heavily utilized. Now, I'm not a big fan of believer of huge crazy numbers where XRP will go to. There's huge amounts of data for it, but I don't necessarily believe that you're going to see that amount of demand with that amount of supply. That's going to basically mean that you're going to be able to do those kind of crazy high numbers. But I think this is actually an achievable number. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think there's going to be enough demand and enough squeeze on the supply to generate a $10 XRP easy enough. It's nothing to do with market cap. Market cap is just price. It's just a price metric. It's nothing to do with value or money going into a project or anything like that. So market cap isn't a barrier to this. There's only two things that are, which obviously is demand and supply. Those are the two key metrics. Now, obviously, when people talk about crazy high numbers, that demand has to be crazy high and the supply has to be significantly reduced. So yeah, that's why I'm not necessarily a huge fan, and you'd have to see complete adoption of it across the world as a let's say it's a Swift replacement, which I don't think it is anyway, but you get the idea. Essentially, let's just keep it grounded to a TA of what we actually have inside the data. The data at the moment has got an indication of $9.97 based on the A wave and the C wave being equal in length, and we have an Elliott wave triangle playing out right in the middle there. So everything from an data perspective and from an analytical perspective is indicating that we have a good shot at $9.97. We could overwick it, we could underwick it, and all of that kind of good stuff. So we always dollar cost average on the way up. We say this all the time, and all of that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I'm going to leave the video there, guys. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.